out of sorts. Trying to get as much natural light as possible. It's not the brightest out there today. What else here? Okay, I guess standing here is probably the best. Let's see. My vision for this was for it to be a lot more informal than my long form reviews. I want to talk about Odin Sphere, but I don't want to adhere as slavishly to a script as I do with my long form reviews. So Odin Sphere, Leifthrasir is a enhanced remake for the PlayStation Vita from Vanillaware. Got it right here, Odin Sphere. They are also the developers of another 2D action RPG called Muramasa, which was originally released for the Wii, but it was also remade as Muramasa Rebirth, also for the PlayStation Vita. Now, I don't have a Vita capture card. Well, I don't have a modded PlayStation Vita, so I can't record gameplay footage from Odin Sphere. However, I am able to take screenshots and, well, I have a phone, so I can record myself talking about it. But not sure exactly how exciting that is or how informative that is. I'm doubting every minute of what I'm doing right now, but I am giving it a try. I know it looks kind of like garbage. It is a phone. I don't have very good lighting in my house. It's kind of a lair of sorts, and it's just not planned out very well, even though I have been making some plans. But I would like to get a nicer camera, but they're very expensive, of course, and I just spent a lot of money on a modded 3DS, which won't get here for a long time. I'm on a 3-month waiting list. So that's coming at some point in the future. But anyway, Odin Sphere. Odin Sphere is a 2D action RPG. Leifthrasir significantly overhauls and expands the original version of Odin Sphere, which was, of course, released on the PlayStation 2. It was a good game. I never made it very far into it because of one crippling flaw. It had massive slowdowns in boss encounters, and it was, for me at least, virtually unplayable. Now, I've heard that this is not a problem in non-North American releases of the game, but, you know, I had a North American release. I was told that the problem was fixed with the PlayStation Network release, and I bought that and tried it, and it had the same exact problem, so I feel as if I was misled. However, fortunately, the PlayStation Vita re-release more or less removes these slowdowns. There are still a couple of areas where you can still see it a little bit, maybe only on the Vita version, but it's nothing that prevents me from, you know, wanting to play the game. It still runs very well. And there are a lot of interesting things about Odin Sphere. You know, one, you have 5 different playable characters, which is pretty cool. They all have distinct playstyles from each other. They all behave completely differently. I think if I had to rank them in order of awesomeness, I would probably go with Velvet, Gwendolyn, Mercedes, Oswald, and Cornelius. Not a big fan of Cornelius. He seems very clumsy. He's a little, short, puka guy, and he's cute. He's really cute. I like him, but not all that fun to play. Meanwhile, Velvet has a whip chain kind of thing that she swings around, and she's very graceful, and there's fire everywhere, and she's kind of slow, so she's difficult to maneuver with sometimes, but it's a very rewarding playstyle. And Gwendolyn, she has a spear. She's a Valkyrie. She has the power of ice, so she has a lot of crowd control. She can slow enemies down, freeze them in place, and she can fly all over the screen. Very, very fun stuff. The others, I mean, Oswald is sort of a demonic berserker, kind of Dark Knight character, and he's interesting, but there's not a lot of variety in his playstyle. You go berserk and you just kind of completely lose your crap all over everybody and beat them into a pulp. Probably one of the easier characters to play, but not necessarily my favorite. And then Mercedes is really cool too because she's like a fairy princess kind of thing, fairy queen, something like that. And she has a crossbow, and she's the only fully ranged character in the game, so she's interesting in that way. But her playstyle is a little awkward sometimes, you know, mostly because of the ranged aspect. And the fact that her regular attacks take power, they remove from your power gauge, so if you repeatedly attack, you will find yourself unable to continue attacking. So you have to stand there for a second and reload, which it just feels a little bit more awkward than the other characters, but still cool. You know, I like it. I like the fact that she has several different projectiles, and little things that she can summon that follow her around, and you know, it's a cool play style. I like it. But yeah, Velvet and Gwendolyn are definitely my favorites. Those are the last and the first characters that you play over the course of the campaign. So the gameplay is very solid, but on normal mode, it honestly gets a little bit easy sometimes. I didn't ever find that I was having trouble with the boss encounters. Most of the time, I got through it the first try, you know, every time. And I didn't feel like I had to use a whole lot of strategy. I could mostly just pick whatever special moves I wanted to use and then just use those. And there wasn't ever much of a trade-off on you know, what kind of skills I was developing, how I was building my character, which is a shame because the way the game is constructed, it's very interesting. There is a leveling system in place where you actually eat food to progress. You plant seeds, you grow fruit, and other things of that nature. And based on the food you eat, you gain experience and health and things of that nature. And that's pretty cool. And then you collect phosons, which are like these little purple energy crystal things. You use those to not only develop your skills, you put points in your skills and put points in your weapon, but you also use those to harvest your seeds. You feed them phosons and they grow. So there is a choice to be made there between actually leveling up your character, increasing your total amount of health, and that kind of thing, and also just developing your skills. But unfortunately, because of the lack of difficulty in normal mode, these decisions don't seem to matter as much, because no matter what you put points in, it seems like you can pretty much successfully make your way through the game. I never reached a point where I was like, I've kind of developed my character wrong, and I might need to go back and reconsider what I've done here. That was never really a thing, and I would have preferred it to be. Maybe I would have enjoyed that aspect of it better if I picked a harder difficulty. If I were to play the game again, which I probably won't, I would probably go back and play it in hard mode. But the thing is, this game is quite long for an action game. It's about 30 or so hours, and I was definitely rushing. You essentially play through all of the same areas and environments 5 times in a row with all 5 characters. You play them in different orders, and the plot is different, but you're still playing essentially the same content over and over. So that became very fatiguing. Despite the difference in play styles between these characters, I did find myself growing tired traversing the same environments over and over. So that is one aspect of the game that I would certainly change. Overall, though, it's a very good game. It's beautiful to look at. It's a type of 2D art that I very much wish would remain in the mainstream in gaming culture. So I'm glad that there's Vanillaware to keep that alive. I really like the art style in Muramasa as well. Muramasa is an excellent game, and in some ways I feel like I maybe prefer it to Odin Sphere, even though there's only 2 playable characters, and technically their playstyles are very similar. It's just there's something about it and its unique art style, and the fact that there are tons and tons of different things to equip and use in that game that I just really enjoy that aspect of it. But honestly, the 2 games have pretty similar playstyles. I just think Muramasa is a different side of the coin that I do prefer, but they're both excellent games, and I'm looking forward to playing more from this developer. They have a game coming out, I'm not sure when, but it's on the horizon. That's supposedly another 2D action sort of game, except it's supposed to be sci-fi, futuristic mecha kind of thing, which that sounds really cool. I love mecha, so I'll definitely check that out, and I definitely recommend that you do so as well. So this is a new thing that I'm doing, and I don't know how well it's going to be received. If you don't like it, let me know. If you do like it, also please let me know. Feel free to leave a comment below, and if you want to see more of this kind of thing, then of course subscribe. But thank you for watching.